I thought I'd spend a little time tonight taking a closer look at a couple of the TVs I just picked up. That would be the Admiral 17T1 and Motorola VK106M. I'll save the Filco for another day because it's still out in the garage. So first up, I want to take a look at the Admiral. So one thing I want to know is the picture tube any good, and what's the condition of the chassis, and I think I'll even try a little controlled power up. Also, I want to deal with the knobs. There was a crazy assortment of mismatched knobs on it when I got it, but I think I might be able to dig up a complete set from Admiral knobs I've scavenged over the years. So first up, let's see if I can find the fine tuning. It looks like this, but it has a shaft that's about half an inch longer. I think I might have one. I know they're in pretty high demand, and I may have sold a spare. Well, I guess I did sell it after all, but I did find a black one, and that doesn't really much matter because you don't see the black plastic once the channel knob's on, so that'll work out fine. Now for the outer knobs, should be two brown knobs like this. I can only dig up one. But I do have some black knobs. However, they're not going to work, not on one side anyways, because the power volume has been replaced. Originally it was a knurled shaft like this, but now it's a half round, so, oh well. I guess I can put this one on. Of course it's filthy, but I can clean that up. And alright, got the knobs on. And for this guy, I just went with this type knob. It's an Admiral knob, obviously it doesn't match that, but it'll work for now. Alright, so next up I'll pull the chassis, I'll get it up on the workbench, let's take a closer look inside. Oh, and as for the broken Bakelite, I did find a piece inside the cabinet. And I don't feel so bad now because I can see there's glue residue on here. So this whole piece had been broken out and somebody glued it back in. So I didn't do the damage. Damage had already been done. So if I get out some epoxy and maybe some reinforcing mesh, I can glue this back in somehow. But it's still going to be missing a little piece right there. Not the end of the world, but certainly detracts from the value a bit. I just pulled the chassis out and put it up on the workbench. It looks to be all complete and quite dirty, and a nice shade of green from cadmium corrosion. Now let's take a peek underneath. It's been recapped. Probably some time ago, though, because these are fairly old caps, so even these replacement electrolytics might well be bad. But this is nice to see. All the high voltage caps have been replaced, and oh, pretty good too, or at least these that I can see, 7.5 kilovolts. The original would have been 6,000, so it's nice to have a little overhead there, although that's a 6 kilovolt. Also, I don't think it's the right value. I think it should be 0.001, but 0.002 is probably close enough. Then there's this huge guy down here. I'm not sure what that's all about. It's probably a high voltage filter, but I don't think it needs to be a cap quite that big. So two of these are for coupling the vertical. Let's put the larger values, the 0.005s and the 0.001 or 2 would be for the horizontal plates. Looks like it's pretty, well, yeah, looks like it's pretty much all orange drops. So that guy and these two guys. Alright, so the seller did say that he powered the setup and it did something, so figure I might as well give it a shot. Should be able to tell if the picture tube's working. I'll just pop the speaker out of the cabinet so we can get some sound. Alright, let's give this a try. Now I should point out that the previous restorer added a fuse underneath the chassis, and I've got this plugged into a fused outlet, just in case anything goes wrong. Alright, so power going on now. Tubes are lighting up, especially that 6Y6 audio output tube. Crackle from the speaker. Get some hum out of the speaker. And a bit of a raster coming up. Alright. I'm going to take this set around so you guys can see that better. Oh, that's not good. Oh, it came back. Alright, sounds like there might be a bit of arcing somewhere down below. Might be why the screen blanked out. There's channel 6. No sound though. Just some crappy video. Oh no, there's some sound. This is really faint. Anyway. I don't have the greatest antenna hooked up right now. Alright, cool. I don't want to run this too long, so. Mission accomplished. Set power's up, transformer's good. Picture tube's got some life left. And, no other major problems, so. Now, what to do with it? I can try repairing that crack in the cabinet, or I could possibly swap this out in one of my other cabinets. I have two that are damage free, one that's got about equivalent damage to this one. And then I've got one really junker set. So I think from that junker set, if the power volume control is good, I'll swap it out on this set so I can put on the proper set of knobs. And we'll see about the cabinet down the road. Alright, for now though, I'm going to shelve this project and let's move on to taking a look at the Motorola VK106. Now, as for the Motorola, if you recall, it was missing all of its knobs. However, there was somebody selling a very similar tabletop version on eBay that's in very good condition, and the seller posted lots of great photos including what the knobs should look like. So I went hunting through my boxes of knobs, and all I could come up with was a channel knob. In fact, I ended up digging up two of them. One numbers are a bit worn off, but I found this one is grungier, but the numbers are more intact. It's quite a well-made knob too. Heavy Bakelite, and then an inner, actually two inner bushings of either bronze or brass with set screws, so I'm sure that'll hold on there just fine with those set screws tightened down. So that's what I got. So that leaves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more knobs to find. Well, in the meantime, I can probably find some knobs that'll sort of work, even though they might not look so good. Now, let's check the CRT. As usual, I'm using my Sencor CR70. This is a 10 BP4 CRT. I've been having a lot of bad luck lately, so let's get our fingers crossed. It's actually a good sign that I'm having to crank up the control on here, because that probably means it's drawing current. And, oh yeah, I can see a glow now. Cool. There's a bunch of goo on here though. I wonder if that's from this collar. There's a little more light. mean, this base may have been loose at some point and somebody slopped a bunch of glue on there. Just hope it doesn't interfere with any of this stuff, because I've encountered some before where somebody slopped a lot of glue and the base was crooked, such that I couldn't slide any of the stuff on here, like the yoke, off of it. This must be the ion trap magnet. I have not seen one quite like this before. These two rings here and here must be magnetized, and there's some sort of sleeve in between. Yeah, it can be manipulated. Okay, yeah, it's got to be the ion trap magnet and focus coil and the yoke. Alright, let's see how it measures. Alright, so no shorts, no shorts. Yeah, I'm going to cut off control. Excellent. And how about some emissions? Oh, hey, alright. My luck has changed, I guess. And I'll do a little life test. Now, this thing's only been on for, geez, like 15 seconds. Alright, this is a very good CRT. I don't really need to do any more testing. I mean, if the emissions are that good and the life test is that good, and I've had this thing on for like 20 seconds, that's a very, very strong. I mean, that's testing like it's brand new. Fantastic. From studying the SAM service info and the photos with that eBay listing, I discovered a few more things about this set. One, if you recall in an earlier video, when I first got this set, I was wondering about the hole I saw in the chassis. Well, that is indeed how it was designed. Just have a big gaping hole in the chassis there. And here is what the original speaker would have looked like, and that's how it was mounted. Also found out that there was indeed a high voltage cage that went over this area, but it wasn't attached to the chassis. It was actually attached to the masonite back, and when you pulled the back off, the cover just came out right with it. It's basically just a little perforated metal box. So perhaps I can fabricate something similar. Alright, now clearly the set's been worked on. With all these notes here, and the seller said that he did power it up, and based on that Admiral we just powered up, that that set was more or less operational. So I'm going to give it a shot with this guy. Now, the only thing that'll make that a little bit trickier is the lack of all the knobs, so I better dig up at least something for the power volume knob. It turns out that same Admiral knob I used on the Bakelite set will fit on here. And I discovered something while looking for these knobs, is that this set actually has a tone control. I don't think I've ever seen a tone control on just a plain black and white TV before. Only in combo sets that had radios and phonographs. Okay, so I've got it hooked up. I'm being overly paranoid as usual with a light bulb in series and a variac. Not to alter the voltage, but just because it's got a fuse in it. So that's on. I'll turn the set on. Light bulb went up really bright, not surprisingly. So it's going to draw a lot of current. All I want to see is, yep, the tubes are lighting up. Okay. So there's no dead short in the set, and at least the filament windings and the power transformer are good. That's what I really wanted to know. So maybe it'll fire up with the bulb in series, because this bulb is going to starve the set of some power. Maybe we can get something out of it. I think I can hear a little hum out of the speaker, but it might be my imagination. Obviously no glow on the picture tube. So I'm going to take that light bulb out and try powering it up again, see what happens. Alright, here goes a full power test. Two tubes are a bit brighter now. Now, even if there is no illumination on the CRT, doesn't mean it's bad. It might just be the brightness is turned down, but, well, you can see, do we have it already, so scratch that. No sound though. Oh, this could be power and tone, and maybe the outer knob is volume. No, it's turned up all the way. This is a dual control here. Alright, so I can already tell from looking at that the speaker situation was a little bit dubious because there's two speakers down there. Alright, so we got horrible bars on the side. It's from yoke ringing probably, and no sound and no picture. Of course I don't have any signal source hooked up, but it's a good sign. Just like the seller told me, the CRT does indeed have life. It lights up, power transformer's still good, the flyback's still good, yoke's still good, so thumbs up on this set. And as for the Admiral cabinet, it's actually a little bit worse than I realized. It's not just this chunk that's gone, there's a crack that runs all the way and wraps around the front over here. Quite filthy too, but I imagine this would clean and buff out quite nice. So I'm leaning towards, I'll patch it up as best I can. There's plenty of advice online about how to do this and reinforce it by grinding away some of the backside. Put some reinforcing material back there, use some good quality epoxy. I couldn't resist taking a whack and buffing out this Admiral cabinet with some Novus number 2, and the results are looking very promising so far. I don't think there are any significant scratches in the top of this cabinet. However, there is some funky stuff. I'm hoping with another pass or two this will come out. I'm not sure what this is. Probably some stuff must have spilled on this over the years and it dried. It's pretty well caked on now. But assuming that all buffs out, this is in really, really nice condition. One last thing I want to do to this Admiral set before buttoning it back up is replace that replaced power volume switch. So, in other words, I want to take the one that's in there, which was probably there to replace a bad original control, with one from another set, because this has the right kind of shaft so I can put the proper knob on it. This set probably could be restored, assuming I had an undamaged cabinet to put it in, and a picture tube, and a shield for the picture tube. But it's also missing the high voltage coil and the cage that goes over this. It's also got a gigantic power transformer because this was designed for the old 25 hertz Canadian power grid. I've heard these will work just fine on 60 hertz. And they actually run really cool, but on the other hand, they add an awful lot of weight to the set. So for the time being, I don't mind scavenging a part out of this. Something else notable in this is that I think it's got 100% original caps. So check out all these giant old wax high voltage caps. So when I get around to restoring that other one or a couple of my other 19A11s, that's this could be a very nice source for restuffing if I want to restore some of the others to their original appearance. It's made in Canada. Made in Canada. So Admiral must have had a plant up in Canada, I'm guessing. I swapped out the control, reinstalled the chassis, buffed out the top a little bit more, found a nicer set of knobs. So it's looking a lot nicer, but doesn't really work much better. So here it is with the over-the-air local channel 6. Picture's not too bad. I've been fiddling around with the controls on the back and fine-tuning, but the sound is terrible. Now if I switch over to channel 3 and hook up a clean video source, I get a pretty good picture, but no sound at all. And on channel 4, I can't get any picture or sound. There's the sound all the way up. Fine tuning doesn't really do anything. I've tried fiddling around with the tuning slugs on the tuner, and it's not really doing much. So I suspect there's something wrong with either the tuner or the IF stages. or possibly the sound output. So it'll be interesting to find out what's wrong with this set, to troubleshoot it. But I'll have to wait for another day. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this look at an Admiral 17T1 and a Motorola VK106.